I'm Philip Stoten. Welcome to That Scoop Show. We are together with Harald Eppinger and Juan Arango from Koh Young again. Great to see you two guys. Last time we did this, I don't know, maybe it was at Apex last year, I think, in San Diego. So it's been what, 18 months? And I haven't seen either of you guys since then. I don't know. Have you seen each other?
No, just by video conference.
That was the last time. So you've got used to this virtual background thing, and now every time I see you, it looks like you've got a board that you carry around on your shoulders with a picture of a factory, or in your case, Harald, there's this hand tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Hey, Harald, wake up."
Wake up. That's the wake up, yeah. or pointing the right direction where we have to go, not to lose the orientation, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm catching you both at the end of a quarter. We're just about to complete the second quarter, or the first half of 2021. Let's start with that. What's that been like? I know it's been a bit of a bumper season in the US and in the Americas. Juan, I'll give you a chance to brag before we before we get your feet back on the ground.
Sure. So the first half, to be honest with you, Phil, we were surprised how quickly the automotive industry rebounded. Yeah. We expected a uptick, but we didn't expect straight up. Yeah. First quarter for us started a little slow, but ended up very strong. But second quarter, we're closing on an amazing quarter, best first half in KYA history and in KYT history. Headquarters is having, we beat 2018 numbers, and that's usually the measurement, with our company, because it's the best year we ever had. Yeah. Now, in KYA's case, the best first half was actually 2019 first half, and we just beat that by $500,000.
Wow. Okay. And KYT, the whole company has set a record half year again?
Yes. So the first quarter, best first quarter ever. Second quarter, best quarter ever. Add those two, best first half ever. So yeah. I have to believe that Dr. Koh is smiling ear to ear, because for last year was a very tough year for everyone.
Yeah.
And I have to give him a lot of credit that even in a downturn, no KYA employee was affected, no pay decrease, no benefits, no nothing. He weathered the storm and said, we will. The task he gave to the general managers was be prepared, because when it comes back, you have to be stronger. And that's what all the branches have done. Because we don't travel, I think we end up collaborating with each other a little more. Mm-hmm. And because my partner in crime here and I have a very similar market, him and I talk quite a bit. And, for us, Q2 of last year was the bad quarter. Other than that, we weathered the storm, but, the amount of additional training that we were able to give, not only our employees, but our distributors and reps, is paying dividends right now. It's great. We're back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I always see you as kind of the two big brothers of the organization, that there's a bit of sibling rivalry, there's a bit of competition there, and you like to stick it to the other one if you do well, and it swings between the two. And markets are markets, you can't control the market. It's fascinating to see the automotive market come back so strong, and I know there's a lot going on the EV side, but nobody predicted that. People were predicting 22, 23 for it to bounce back. Harald, it's not been quite as quite a nicer ride in Europe, has it?
Yes, I think we are on the same path to be back in business. I would say it's just a little behind. We see the same growth, we see the same success. We see the order stream, and we see how from our business point of view, that the business is back. It's slower because the uncertainness, and all the vaccination processes have been slower in Europe, and the discussion about between the Europeans, travel restrictions, I think was much tougher, and the hard lockdown in Europe really pulls down the economy. And I think the restart is a little bit slower. We had also in comparing to the previous years, we have a great we had a reasonable nearly great 2020, because you have to balance the circumstances. It was not the growth, but to overcome this kind of critical environment even with a smile for 2020, and then it was Q1, Q2. It's slower, but it's really successful, and we are happy that we also can contribute to the success of the company with less than America currently. I will be back. You know, there's a big phrasing like this, or we will be back, not only me, the team.
I'll be back.
But I have to say, I'm not worried about. It's looking very promising. The companies are reinvesting. What you also see that there are new areas, semicon, which are now more active than previous. But also you see they are not planning to invest in the current technology. It looks obvious that they will invest into the next generation. And this new business focus is also a benefit for us, because in the past it was more highest flexibility to produce everything, and now it's the diversity, and it goes into big boards in small. So this is especially call it not the mass production in Europe, it's the individual production, which is on our radar, and that's why we have a common market. But as we clearly see, there's the interest, there's a go forward, and people are looking for the technology which can support them for the next years. It's you know, that's a depreciation. The return of invest is calculated different in Europe. So we're looking forward, and it looks very promising.
It does.
And as Juan said, I'm very happy that I also can say thank you to Dr. Koh. He clearly said, and it was even in 2009 when I started with the company, we faced all the crises, and he said, don't worry, go ahead, prepare yourself, reorganize, keep the company efficient, focus on stability. That's what we could do. We didn't lose employees. We could even establish better trainings for the teams, also for our partners and the customers. And what that means, yes, we are prepared, and I think just a little bit behind the rest of the world economy.
Yeah, but that whole attitude of you know, we're in a crisis, but let's prepare for the ramp on the other side is great, isn't it? And that's something that's obviously served you well. What was interesting there, Harald, is I'm getting the impression that you're feeling that the pandemic has been an opportunity for people to assess where they are in terms of technology and think about that whole digital transformation process. Do you see the pandemic as being an accelerant, and those companies that are coming back with CapEx are bouncing back with a digital outlook?
I think it's not just one reason we have to see. First of all, coming from our point of view, we learned to optimize the way of presentations due to the travel restrictions. Luckily, we have a European organization which is based on regional partners. So the travel restriction was not hurting us as Koh Young Europe, because the local partners could execute our business. But it forced us also to rethink our activities and the way of training the engineers, our partners, the customers. Very early, we started with a totally different approach of the webinars. And we know everybody is sick of these webinars, getting bothered with a beach in the background and all these kind of things. And also the content. Only a few people realize that you cannot use the same presentation methodology to present the product, because a real meeting is totally different. And a webinar meeting has to be much more efficient and straightforward. So we learned a lot, and I think this is a clear refresh. On one hand, the methodology to transfer know-how. This is from the training point, but also the sales process becomes different. And I think it's reconsidering the efficiency of the teams and the sales members. And on the other side, the customer is also refocused on due to the restrictions, he cannot travel to 10 vendors. He has to pre-select before, and he has to clearly understand the benefit of this or these vendors, because there's limited resources. And of course, the cost saving in a lot of companies and the travel restrictions, both has impact in the way to decide. And I think we all learned a lot, both parties, customers, distributors, and the vendors, to be more straight, more benefit-oriented selling, because not just on the facts. And I think we could adapt this quite well. Yes, the people have been refocused on, I will be prepared for the next gen, whatever this means, in technology, smaller, bigger, but also in the line efficiency. And that is all related to the digitalization. And I think when it was in mind to change digital world, now it becomes a project. You know, there was a discussion about, and now it becomes a project, idea, brainstorming. Now you can grab it. You see that people would like to utilize it.
Yeah. And Juan, in the Americas, have you seen when people have come back with those new CapEx budgets, which they've clearly done this year, that they've been more focused on digital transformation, more focused on the kind of high-end value you can add in terms of intelligence from the inspection machines that you're providing?
That's absolutely true, Phil. The key, as you know, you do not need inspection to manufacture. You just need inspection if you want quality manufacturing. So something that in America, same as Europe, is quality is, the key, because we can't compete throwing people at it. So they're starting to understand that it has to be the best in class, because, in our customers, a false call is a nuisance, but an escape is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And our 3D technology, which is second to none, provides them, better data, so they can improve the quality of manufacturing. So, especially because there was 1 year without investment, maybe we always say last year was only a 9-month year, because for the average, it was 3 months of closure. In Mexico, we had closer to 5 months of closure. So when we prorate that over the months that we were able to work, it was really just like 2018 and 2019.
Yeah.
But it's just that, the high quality, the automotive, and the reshoring have been a godsend for the Americas.
Yeah. Have you seen much from reshoring, Harald? Have you seen business coming back from Asia to Europe?
Yeah, definitely. We see the activities. It's not executed yet, but you see there's definitely obvious. It's the semicon shortage. Wake up, Europe, that do something on your own and be more prepared for in the case of risk management. But you also see, as I mentioned in the beginning, there's the willingness to invest in these new technologies. It's a kind of reshoring, not to invest the next generation outside, more in Europe. Yes, the benefit is our new East Europe area, which is, let me say, less labor cost critical. Also, you see definitely the reshoring of really big product volume into Europe. And you see it, you can see it, you can feel it. The lines are busy again much earlier than the economy sees. So that's the reshoring. But also what we see is that we have, Europe is a little bit more extended from our point of view. We are dealing with Russia. Russia is brutal increasing business area for us, but also the other areas like North Africa, there again. So the good thing is we have the landscape of the business is totally different. You have consumables on one area, you have the mobile, the e-vehicles, we have all in Europe, and it's a little bit divided in areas. But business is back. 5G is still not finished, so it's still ongoing business. So so there you see all this, and you see that especially East Europe, the new European countries, they get a lot of money from the European government, supported, and this enables, of course, to set up the lines accordingly.
Yeah, some more investment. Yeah, absolutely.
More,
You guys have both lost plenty of trade shows over the last 18 months, and you've done a great job in, as you say, Harald, standing up webinars and different programs and marketing. The next big thing we would normally be preparing for is Productronica. Is there a strong commitment for that to go ahead face to face, Harald? What's your expectation right now?
I think there are two aspects. First of all, people are hungry to meet each other again. I think I can say I would like to meet my buddy Juan, and I like to meet you. As long as you bring a bottle of wine with you, then you're even more welcome. Yeah. Yep. But I can.
We have wine here in Australia.
That's a good one. Okay. But they are hungry. They are missing this contact, the network and the relation in our business. We are talking about a relative conservative business. The web approach and the modern style is okay, but we are used to have this exchange on the exhibition and to touch the machine. And engineers, you need to touch the heart of an engineer, the passion, and then you say, wow, that's what I like to get. Yeah. So there are people who are hungry that would like to meet. We committed to the Productronica organization. We booked our booth. We have everything done. As long the legal regulation from the government allows us, we will be there. And I see it as we need to go, and we need to press the trigger button to restart. The show is for me the final restart. We can do business, but also being with the customers and showing the presence and giving the stories around. I think this will be, and we are on the same size as previous years. So Productronica is, I can tell you, we have 200 square meters, which is a big area for an inspection company. For picking place is normal, but for us it's big. And we really prepare a lot of new things to be promoted. And the next chance is for Europe is the SMT. Yeah, there are smaller shows all over Europe. I heard about smaller shows in Czech, which will be executed. So there are smaller ones, but you all know Productronica is an international show and it's a milestone. And we plan to introduce also a bunch of new products and features.
Yeah. And do you think, with the international reputation, do you think it'll get a lot of international visitors, or is that going to be the challenge this year?
I think it's the challenge because currently we see we had planned events or joint events in Portugal, and overnight the border is closed. We have travel restrictions, so it's really something which is on a kind of surprise mode. But the vaccination is getting stabilized. All this has to have happened. Things is a must, and we heard that the Bavarian government approves its plan to beginning of September to have an official full release of shows. Today is still a little bit restricted, the amount of people, etc. And the Productronica organization is really pushing hard to make it happen. It will be smaller, I believe. How many people from abroad we will see there is a different story, but definitely we will be there. For us, it's important. I think it's a must.
Yeah. Well, Harald, we've managed to put on a football tournament this month, as you're probably aware, in Europe. I don't really want to talk about the score between England and Germany overnight, but it happened, and it's worth mentioning. But we should probably move quickly on.
No, I'm totally out of the topic of football, so I even don't watch. So
you don't even know what happened. Well, just for the record, England beat Germany 2-0 overnight. It's the first time you've been beaten by England in a knockout competition since 1966. So that's a lot of pain that we've been through waiting for this moment. So it's why it needs to be mentioned.
Phil, it's the same. I let Juan lead the team currently, temporarily give him the chance to be the champ.
There you go. It's very kind. See, Harold, you've always been such a gracious competitor, and that's what we like so much about you. Juan, I guess the next big show for you is going to be Apex 2022, and you're preparing in the same way, expecting that show to go ahead.
Correct. We're all indications say it's a go. The benefit that we have is, in Harold's case, he's going head first, all in. We have a tester with SMTA Minnesota.
In Minnesota, yeah, with the MD.
It's a week or two before Prototronica. So that'll be a good tester, but that's typically a regional show.
Yeah.
It usually was in Chicago. This year's in Minnesota. I sure hope that it comes back, because one of the strengths that both Harold's team and mine has is in earning the trust of companies that are not Koh Young customers. And that you can only earn face to face.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate that we have such a large install base, and we still win a lot of new customers. That's something we track every quarter. It's just, it's harder when it can't be face to face.
Yeah. So I think that shows pretty important as well. So when you look at it, guys, what have you got in your bag of tricks to share with us in Munich in November, in San Diego in January? What are we expecting? New hardware, new software, further developments on K-Smart? Where are we going next?
So for what's coming out is really the next gen of K-Smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been the heart or the soul of our equipment, because our equipment is really amazing, and it's the connectivity and the data accessibility that makes the whole process better. We have a new AOI that you will be seeing. The pin machine continues to evolve into a much more robust solution, trying to go outside of automotive. MOI also has another spin, and there's a couple other things I can't tell you, but it's after a year and a half, almost 2 years, it's time for everybody to see, and a lot of it will be data driven and interconnectivity, because one of the things that we are pushing hard is additional MES engineers.
Yeah.
Because with this, call it Smart Factory 4.0, all of those names that Harold mentioned were an idea, and now it's a reality. It's the being able to do something with that data that is key. So as a matter of fact, one of the things that headquarters has recognized is that we are able to get great talent in the US, and the MES, or we're rebranding it, but that group will be headquartered in US for global support.
Oh, fantastic.
For Harold and I would say quite important, because of the labor cost. So we have more projects than other areas do. Mm-hmm. And it could be there's a lot of reasons. We also feel that it's more, our market and our team pushing more for it, because that's really our differentiator.
Yeah.
Then it's just, not quite the deciding factor or the differentiator with the rest of our competitors.
Yeah, and Harold, I guess from your point of view, it's the glue that holds everything together, isn't it? It's the data channel, it's the intelligence that you get from the equipment that's what people want to buy now.
I think that's becomes clear over the last years. Changing the technology from 2D into 3D was a revolution, and the people getting more and more sensitive on the real value of this process data. As we all know, it takes a while until you realize what you can do with, especially when you don't focus only on the bad, on the defects, even more when you know the deviation, the process, it's eye-opening. But to utilize it, that was one of the biggest headaches of the companies. The slowdown which we had in 20 was really kind of giving the people the time to reconsider the concepts and this data processing, and especially the communication between the machines. And we all know there's still a change, the Hermes, the CFX, all this communication, horizontal, vertical, but that's the general communication. But the communication to optimize the process and the settings, that's even more accepted now. And the people hesitated because they didn't know exactly what is the benefit, what gives to me. But in the flexibility aspect and the specialization aspect, what I raised before, we cannot deliver any more one machine for all. The goal was for us, America and Europe, was not the throughput, it was the flexibility to have power boards, small boards, variables, everything, but running through the same machine. Today, the portfolio expanded from semicon size, ultra small, mini LED, micro LED. On the other hand, we have double XXL machine with board size of 1.3 meter, 1.4 meter. So that means you will not have the same production line to which manufacture the same one day this, one day this. So this specialization is a pain and a headache on one hand, but also an opportunity. So this gives also some smaller companies the chance to position in a niche and to be very strong. So yes, this reconsider what I would like to do the next 5 years, 10 years. This is, I think, the precise outcome and the focus. Be perfect matching to the challenges.
And it's what's going to drive what you've got at both of those shows. So during the lockdown, obviously you've lent on each other, you've lent on the families, the KY family as a whole, and that's seen you through. And as you say, Juan, it's brought you out the other side, a stronger organization, a more customer-focused organization, more able to help your customers. What about lessons from the lockdown? What do you think it's taught you? What have you learned that you'll do differently post-pandemic than perhaps you did before? Harald, what are your thoughts? Or Juan, you go first.
One of the things that we learned, Phil, is that and Harald mentioned this earlier, that we needed to tailor, on the sales side, tailor presentations a little more carefully, because when you're doing a webinar, you really got to catch their interest. And it's not like, when you're in a meeting, you can do a little go off into private conversations and things. So time is not so critical, but when you're doing it face to face, it's critical. So we had to, and we ended up getting some consultants to help us fine tune that. We also realized that we had to really focus our efforts in improving our remote training, because, we continue to sell machines, but there are a lot of companies that wouldn't let people in. So sales is just now getting to the point that they can visit customers. But kudos to our service group that since June of last year have been traveling practically every day.
Wow.
And that was one of the reasons why Dr. Koh allowed us to help Mexico get vaccinated. And we've brought people into the US to get vaccinated. So as of today, more than 90% of Koh Young America is already fully vaccinated.
Wow, your Koh Young America is the most vaccinated country on the planet, just about. That's an impressive stat. I think down here we're about 5 or 6%, but I know Germany are doing better and the UK are doing okay, and some European countries are doing well. Harald, what about you? Lessons from lockdown. What have you learned?
I think we raised already, but the efficiency of messaging is one part. When you have a real face-to-face meeting, it's easy to have a 2 or 3 hours meeting, and everybody's enjoying this exchange. If you have to do the same job in a web meeting, it's much more critical. 45 minutes, 1 hour should be the goal. So the messaging, the content, and the message delivery is very important. We do a lot here. Unfortunately, I'm here in my office. Normally, I would do the interview in our studio. We have set up a complete studio with it all, this way of presenting the PowerPoint, not just like, can you see my screen and can you hear me? Because I think this is the most used questions the last 15 months. And especially all the PowerPoints have been just redesigned. We refocused on the messaging to address the people more. As I raised it before, touching the heart, touching what the customer is looking for, not to miss an opportunity. The learning is very clear. We know that our team was good. Now the team, I would say, is becoming even more efficient. The sensitiveness to be more individual, on the needs, on what the questionnaires are from the customers has improved. But most important, the platform, which was initially the visit, has been copied somehow into this world of digital media. And I'm proud that we have learned this, all these aspects. And we got the feedback that the webinars are nice to stay. You know, normally after a while you're bothered, you see the screen, you see all the small faces. It's the quality of the video cam, it's the quality, everything. So this helps a lot to be attractive to watch. And this is saying the content, the way of doing it, and the lessons learned, as Juan mentioned, the remote work will be with us for the next years, because everybody said there is no need always that an engineer flies in and flies out, which is a lot of cost. And I think this part helped also to be profitable at the end of the day. We like to stay with the customers, but some of the activities can be done remotely with glasses. We have a different tool sets. All these different aspects and nice tools in the market utilized, plus the classic way of selling and servicing. I think this is the future, and I think people liked it, and even our teams like, because we have much more efficient team. Sitting in a plane is not always, it's maybe
it's
nice.
Not so efficient, is
but,
it?
the space is getting less, and it's not comfortable anymore. But this is something, the mixture is the future, and the right balance we learned in the last 18 months to do right, and to be, let me say, good for everybody.
Yeah, and more efficient and more effective. And Harald, you mentioned before the that yearning to do the face-to-face meeting, and it's interesting, isn't it? You do the whole presentation in the office of a client, and then you maybe go out for lunch or you go out for dinner afterwards, and it's not till you've sat down and you've had a couple of beers and you've maybe had a steak or something together that something comes out that you realize there's a problem in the factory they didn't mention in the meeting, or there's an issue, and there's something that just allows you to hone your message to them much more than you previously could. And being able to recreate that virtually is a real challenge, but you do absolutely the best you can. I think when I look at Koh Young, we kind of all knew you had this awesome team and everybody was very well connected together, but it's when you put teams under pressure, you really learn how capable they are and how dynamic they are. And I think, Juan, you've said to me before that when you look at the way your team have performed under stress, it's just blown you away how they've stepped up, how they've said, yeah, I'll get on the plane, I'll go do that. I'll go fix this problem. I know the customer needs this, I'll go do that. You've had such a strong response from them. It's been quite incredible.
It's, I tip my hat to them. They have kept the company, I mean, globally, because Koh Young America has been able to, honestly, 2020 with what we went through was better than I expected it would be. And coming out of it with all the efforts and tweaks that we did, we came out stronger. And it's a testament to them. Now, what I have to do is find more of them, because our backlog of installation, I'm going to start asking Harald for some help, see if he can send me some engineers, because we have 125 machines sold, delivered, waiting to be installed.
Wow. Wow. So they're literally on the on site waiting to be
Our service managers are doing an outstanding job juggling the needs of the customer, and and the customers understand, because some of them have restrictions where for me to send somebody there, they have to sit for a week. I've got one guy in Costa Rica and one in Argentina, and they both fully vaccinated, had to quarantine for a week.
Yeah, before they can get to stuff. Harald, your team, they've stepped up to the challenge?
Oh yes, of course. I think what we learned and what the team contributed is incredible, because this hard work and being disconnected visualized also some obstacles, smooth operation, and the team immediately jumped on, finalized, tuned the process, come up with ideas how to make it remotely. And also, I have to say, we have also faced the short work and the work from home, which proves also to me as a manager and shows me where we have still some communication issues, because normally you just exchange something during the coffee break, and it helped. Unbelievable. It's helped a lot to retune the operation, and again, to make it more efficient and to get back to even more smooth operation. And I think that here the team contributed a lot. And I have to say, like Juan said, thank you for the team. And it's not just the TS team, it's for us also very important, the admin team, which is responsible for the spare part management and the deliveries. And we had deliveries, so we have really challenging times. And I have to say, just currently we are challenged by the transportation shortage. We are facing a material shortage, not just semicon, general. We are not hurt currently, but if I see to the European market, there's a material shortage, but even more, there's a transport shortage. And we are waiting for machines. The vessel is late, and it's now in a harbor waiting since 4 days to be offloaded. And it was never, normally it's just in time, in, out, next, and it's unpredictable. So this kind of challenge is really managed extremely, because it changed in minutes. You get a yes, and 5 minutes later you have the no, it's not possible. Then you have a yes again. So all this extreme flexibility is challenging the team, but they're still smiling. That's what I feel. So as an employee smiles, it seems the team feels well.
Yeah, well, kudos to the team and kudos to you both. And congratulations, Juan, for sneaking out in front again. I am sure that Harald is going to be snapping at your heels. Hopefully we can have a beer together in Munich, or maybe a beer or two together in San Diego, or, if there's a tailwind, we'll be able to do both. And I look forward to seeing what's new and innovative from Koh Young at one of those shows. Guys, great to talk to you as always. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to doing this again sometime, probably face to face, I hope.